fun fact, when Gail directed Rosie, I was director shadow. So I got to learn about directing from watching Gail Maurice. And so this partnership goes back a long time, and I hope for many, many, many years to come.
Yeah, me too. I have a lot of love and mutual respect for Eva. I just want to give her a big hug right now.
The story of Aberdeen emerged out of stories out of Winnipeg, including Ryan's personal story. And he asked me if I would co-write it with him, and then asked me if I would direct it. But then I told him no, because it was such a personal story that I thought he should co-direct it with me. And he asked what I thought about Gail, and I said absolutely. Gail was gonna nail the role, and very proud of the film that we made.
I've been in the business for over like 30 years. I started out as an actor, and I was tired of auditioning for stereotypical roles. And so I started to write my own stuff. And then finally, I had an opportunity to direct my first feature film, Rosie. And when Ryan and Eva asked me to be part of Aberdeen, it was my first starring role. So I was excited, and it's also the first role where I didn't have to audition. So thank you, Eva. Aberdeen to me is, there's a little bit of her inside of me. I think inside of, Eva, and inside of a lot of Indigenous people, women. And, I wanted to show their strength, and that, how it's actually the system that stamps on them and keeps them down and pushes them. And yet their resilience and their strength and their power to fight and continue fighting every day. I mean, just the power and the ability to wake up every morning. Sorry, I get emotional because these are real people. For example, we were shooting one day on the streets of Winnipeg, and it was a scene where I'm screaming at the government that I want my ID, give me my ID. An Indigenous street person came up to me, and she goes, I want my ID too. And so she really connected with me, and I don't think she knew we were shooting a film. It just goes to show that this is not just a fictional story. It's actually a story that resonates deeply with a lot of Indigenous people.
I think for me as a filmmaker, in our talk with Ryan, was this idea that films can be like machines of empathy. And that was always sort of the driving force, is how can we get the audience to empathize with a character like Aberdeen, not only to sort of like understand emotionally why she feels what she feels, but to understand how she got that way. And I think that was what we were able to do, was sort of, I get emotional too. But sometimes, when people look at Indigenous people who have substance issues, they sort of think it's like we have a character flaw in us. There's something wrong with them. But really, if you look into them and who they were and the things that they've been through in their life, you could understand the path that it took for them to get there. And I think that's what I think people walk away from Aberdeen is, I understand. And I think that's a real gift of the work that we get to do. I'm so emotional. I'm sorry.
I remember towards the end of the shoot, I treated myself to a massage. It was really profound, and I've never forgotten it. She said, because my body was so tense, she goes, Gail, she said, your brain doesn't know that you're acting. Your brain thinks it's real. So your brain thinks that you're in crisis. And it really made me think. And I mean, as an actor, that's what it's all about, is you put your entire being and spirit into a character to bring it to life. And, and having a safe space with Eva as a director, I felt really, really comfortable to do anything.
I have to say that making this movie with Gail Maurice was just such a wonderful experience, and every day was really wonderful. And I look back on those days and working with Gail with such fondness. I'm just so excited about the stories that are coming out of the Indigenous community, and and I'm happy and proud to be a part of it.